Government classified information and transparency issues in democracy. Explore the impact of government information secrecy on democratic accountability and why transparency matters more than ever. Government secrecy and democratic accountability. What's the real story? You know, we often take for granted how much we actually don't know about what goes on behind the scenes in our government. I mean, the idea of government classified information isn't just some spy movie gimmick. It's a real messy thing that impacts how democracy functions in ways most people don't stop to consider. Think about it. Governments everywhere operate on a spectrum between transparency and secrecy. On one hand, they need to keep some things under wraps for national security or diplomatic reasons. On the other, their whole legitimacy depends on being accountable to the public. When secrecy tips too far into the shadows, it creates gaps in democratic accountability that can erode trust, spark scandals, or worse. So what does government secrecy look like in real life? It often shows up as government information secrecy, stuff that officials deliberately withhold, like plans no one can question or documents buried deep in secure files. Ever wonder why some government document secrecy policies seem endless, with decades-long embargoes? It's not just about protecting secrets. Sometimes it's about avoiding uncomfortable truths. That's partly why government confidentiality can feel like a double-edged sword. On one side, it safeguards sensitive information. Think of classified military operations or intelligence on foreign threats. But on the other side, it can shield inefficiencies, mistakes, or even corruption from the public eye. And it's not just the documents. There are also government secret policies, decisions and strategies crafted behind closed doors, out of sight, with no public input or knowledge. These policies might be intended as necessary for national security or economic stability, but when no one can scrutinize them, it raises serious questions about their impact on citizens and democracy itself. The conflict between secrecy and transparency also feeds into what many call government transparency issues. It's a vast topic that affects everything from the freedom of the press to how elected officials are held responsible for their actions. Without transparency, the checks and balances foundational to democracy start to weaken. If you're wondering how these issues got so complicated, part of it comes from the nature of modern governance. National security flags, intelligence agencies, and diplomatic strategies all require some degree of discretion. But sometimes, secrecy becomes a tool for maintaining power rather than protecting the public. There's an interesting cultural angle too. Popular media often paints deep state conspiracies and secret government operatives, stuff that feels like thriller material but is rooted in real government opacity. Speaking of which, there's a gripping read called Hush, a psychological thriller of alien manipulation and deep state deceit. It's a wild story that mixes real-world themes of secret policies and government secrecy with a thrilling twist. Definitely worth checking out if you like your fiction with a side of paranoia and government intrigue. Honestly, navigating this balance between openness and secrecy is one of the toughest puzzles for any democracy. On the bright side, modern technology and investigative journalism continue to pressure governments toward more openness. Yet the chicken and egg problem remains. How transparent should a government be while still protecting essential secrets? So next time you hear about a leaked document or a government scandal, think about what's really at stake beyond the headline. It's not just about what's hidden, but how these shadows affect the bigger democratic picture, the ability for citizens to hold their leaders accountable and to understand the forces shaping their lives. If you're interested in thrilling stories that tap directly into this tension between secrecy and truth, don't miss Hush, a psychological thriller of alien manipulation and deep state deceit. Available in ebook, print, or audio formats, it's a compelling read for anyone fascinated by the thin line between government confidentiality and democratic transparency. Go ahead and buy now in ebook, print, or audio, because sometimes fiction reveals truths that reality keeps secret.